I wanted to try something new. I felt a little slow some days. My energy was not always high. I read about intermittent fasting. Many people talked about it. They said it helped them feel better. I was curious. Could it help me too? I thought about it for a while. This was not a quick choice. I wanted a challenge. I wanted to see if a small change in my eating could make a big difference in my daily life. This was the main reason I started. I hoped to find more energy. I also wanted to feel more focused. Sometimes my mind felt cloudy. It was hard to think clearly. I wondered if fasting could change this. The idea was simple. Do not eat for some hours each day, then eat in the other hours. It sounded like a system. I like systems. Systems can help build good habits. I decided to try this for 30 days. This felt like a good amount of time. Enough time to see if it really worked for me and my body. Many friends talked about their diets. Some ate special foods. Others counted every calorie. Intermittent fasting seemed different. It was not about what I ate, it was more about when I ate. This felt less complicated. I thought it might be easier to stick to. I am a big believer in small changes. Small changes can lead to big results over time. This challenge felt like one of those small changes, a new habit to build. I was ready to begin this new path. So, I made a plan. The plan was to try intermittent fasting. I would do it for 1 month. I would pay attention to my body. I would notice how I felt. I would write down the changes. Was I tired? Was I hungry? Did I have more energy? I wanted to learn from this experience. This journey was for me. It was a personal experiment. I was both nervous and a little excited to see what would happen to me. So what is intermittent fasting? It sounds complex, but it is not. It is a simple idea. It means you choose times to eat, and you choose times not to eat. This cycle repeats every day, or it can repeat on some days of the week. There are many ways to do it. Some people fast for a whole day, others fast for many hours each day. The main idea is to give your body a break from food for a set period regularly. This is the core of the method. The most common type is called the 16-8 method. This is what I chose to try. It means you fast for 16 hours every day. Then, you have an 8-hour window to eat your meals. For example, you might eat from 12 p.m. in the afternoon until 8 p.m. in the evening. The other 16 hours you do not eat. This includes the time you are sleeping. So, a big part of the fast happens when you are asleep. This seemed manageable to me. It felt like a good place to start my journey. During the fasting period you can drink water, you can also drink black coffee or tea, but no sugar or milk. Anything with calories will break your fast. The goal is to keep your body in a fasting state. During the eating window you eat your normal meals. It is important to still eat healthy food. Fasting is not an excuse to eat junk food. It is about building a healthy pattern. A good system for your body to follow each and every day without much trouble. My expectation was that it might be hard at first. I thought I would feel very hungry. I also hoped for some good changes. Maybe I would have more energy. Maybe my mind would feel sharper. I read that many people experience these benefits. I wanted to see if these benefits would happen for me too. I was ready to learn how my body would react. It was an experiment. And every good experiment starts with a clear plan and an open mind about the results. The first week was all about adjustment. I decided my eating window would be from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. This meant no breakfast in the morning. This was a big change for me. I usually ate a small breakfast. Now my mornings were just for water or black coffee. Waiting until noon to eat my first meal felt strange. The first few days my stomach rumbled a lot. It was telling me it was used to a different schedule. I had to gently tell it things were changing for a bit. During my 8-hour eating window, I tried to eat well. I focused on good, healthy foods. For my first meal around 12 p.m., I often had chicken or fish with vegetables. I also ate some rice or potatoes. I wanted to make sure I got enough energy. For my second meal, usually around 7 p.m., I had something similar. I tried not to overeat. I listened to my body. I drank plenty of water throughout the day, both during fasting and eating periods. This helped me feel fuller and stay hydrated. The biggest challenge in the first week was the mornings. I missed my usual routine. Waking up and not eating felt unnatural at first. I used black coffee to help. It gave me something warm to drink. It also helped to curb the hunger a little bit. I tried to keep busy in the mornings. This helped take my mind off food. I focused on my work, or I would go for a short walk. Small distractions made a big difference in those early days of the new habit. By the end of the first week, things started to feel a little easier. My body was slowly getting used to the new rhythm. The hunger in the mornings was still there, but it was not as strong as on day 1 or day 2. I felt a small sense of accomplishment. I had made it through 7 days. This gave me motivation to continue. Building a new habit takes time. The first week is often the hardest. I was glad I had passed that first important milestone. The mornings were indeed the toughest part. I call it the morning hunger monster. It would wake up with me. It would grumble and try to convince me to eat. My old habit of eating breakfast was strong. My body expected food. When it did not get it, it protested. The first few days this feeling was very intense. I had to find ways to manage it. I knew if I could conquer the mornings, I could succeed with this 30-day challenge. It was a daily battle for a while. My main weapon against the hunger monster was water. I drank a lot of water, sometimes I would add a squeeze of lemon. This made it feel a bit more interesting. Black coffee was my other ally. No sugar, no milk, just plain black coffee. The warmth and the caffeine helped. It gave me a little boost. And it kept my mouth busy. It felt like I was having something, even though it had no calories. These small things made a big difference in my perception of hunger. Keeping busy was another key strategy. If I sat around thinking about food, the hunger felt worse. So I made sure my mornings were productive. I would start working right away, or I would read a book. Sometimes I would do some light chores around the house, anything to keep my mind occupied. When my mind was busy, it had less time to focus on my stomach. This mental trick was very effective. It helped the hours pass more quickly until my eating window began at noon. There were moments when I almost gave in, especially on the third or fourth day. The thought of a warm piece of toast was very tempting, but I reminded myself why I started this challenge. I wanted to see it through. I told myself that the hunger was just a feeling, it would pass, and it did. Each time I resisted the urge to eat, I felt stronger. It was like exercising a muscle, the muscle of self-control. It got stronger with each successful morning. Section 5. Keeping the fasting habit strong. After the first week, things got a bit smoother, but staying consistent was still a challenge. Life is full of surprises. Sometimes my schedule changed. Sometimes there were social events. These things could make it hard to stick to my 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. eating window. For example, a friend might invite me for an early lunch, or there might be a special breakfast meeting at work. I had to learn to navigate these situations carefully. It required planning and a bit of discipline. Weekends were a little different from weekdays. On weekdays my work routine helped me, I was busy. On weekends I had more free time. This meant more chances to think about food. I had to be mindful. I tried to plan activities for Saturday and Sunday mornings, maybe a long walk, or working on a hobby. This helped keep the fasting habit strong. I also allowed myself a little flexibility. If my eating window shifted by an hour one day, I did not worry too much. The key was to get back on track the next day. There were definitely moments when I wanted to quit, especially if I had a bad night's sleep, or if I was feeling stressed about something else. In those moments, fasting felt like an extra burden. I would think, maybe this is not for me. But then I would remember my goal. I wanted to complete the 30 days. I would look back at how far I had come. This usually gave me the strength to continue. Small wins like completing another day were very motivating. They built momentum. Overcoming these challenges made me feel more capable. It taught me about discipline. It showed me that I could make a plan and stick to it, even when it was not easy. This was a valuable lesson. It was not just about fasting, it was about building mental toughness. Each time I chose to stick to my plan, I was reinforcing a good habit. I was telling myself that I was in control. This feeling of control was very empowering and helped me keep going. Section 6. My feelings, a 30-day diary. My emotional journey during these 30 days had many ups and downs. In the beginning, especially the first few days, I felt quite irritable. The hunger made me a bit grumpy. Little things would annoy me more than usual. I was not used to denying myself food when I felt hungry. This new feeling of restriction was challenging. My patience was shorter. I had to be mindful of how I interacted with others. I explained to my family I was trying something new, so they understood. However, there were also many emotional highs. Every time I successfully completed a fasting period, I felt a surge of pride, especially in the first week. Making it to 12 p.m. without eating felt like a small victory each day. As the days turned into weeks, this feeling grew. I felt more disciplined. I felt more in control of my body and my choices. This sense of accomplishment was a powerful motivator. It made the harder moments feel worthwhile. It was like climbing a small hill each day. There were times when I felt a bit deprived, especially during social situations. If friends were having an early brunch, I would drink black coffee while they ate delicious food. It was not always easy. I sometimes felt like I was missing out, but I tried to focus on the conversation. I focused on the company. I reminded myself that this was a temporary challenge, and I could choose to eat differently after the 30 days if I wanted to. This perspective helped manage feelings of missing out. Towards the end of the 30 days, my mood generally improved. The initial irritability faded away. I felt more stable emotionally. Perhaps it was because my body had adjusted, or perhaps it was the sense of achievement. I felt calmer and more even-keeled. The extreme highs and lows became less frequent. My overall emotional state felt more balanced. This was a pleasant surprise. I had not expected fasting to have such a noticeable impact on my general mood after the initial phase. Section 7. Changes in my body, what I saw. Over the 30 days I noticed some physical changes. The most obvious one was a little bit of weight loss. I did not weigh myself every day. I'm not a fan of focusing too much on the scale. But after a few weeks my clothes started to feel a bit looser, especially around my waist. This was a nice bonus. I was not fasting mainly to lose weight, but it seemed to be a natural side effect for me. It was a gradual change, not a dramatic one, which felt healthy. My energy levels also changed. In the first week I sometimes felt a bit tired, especially in the late morning, before my eating window opened. But after my body adjusted, something interesting happened. My energy levels became more stable throughout the day. I did not experience that afternoon slump as much. Before, I used to feel very sleepy around 3 p.m. With intermittent fasting my energy felt more consistent. I felt alert and active for longer periods. This was a very welcome change for me. Sleep was another area where I saw a difference. Initially, I was worried that fasting might affect my sleep. I thought being hungry might keep me awake. For the first few nights my sleep was a little restless. But after about a week, my sleep improved. I seemed to fall asleep faster, and I felt more rested when I woke up. I am not sure exactly why. Maybe it was because I was not going to bed with a very full stomach, or maybe my body was just working better. One surprising physical change was that I felt less bloated. Before starting intermittent fasting I often felt a bit puffy after meals, or just generally bloated during the day. During the 30 days this feeling reduced significantly. My digestion seemed to improve. I felt lighter and more comfortable in my body. This was a very pleasant physical sensation. It made me feel healthier from the inside out. These physical changes, though some were small, added up to a noticeable improvement in how I felt. Section 8. A clearer mind thinking differently. Beyond the physical changes I also noticed a transformation in my mental state. One of the most significant improvements was a reduction in brain fog. Before there were times during the day when my thoughts felt slow and unclear. It was like my brain was trying to work through a thick mist. After a couple of weeks of intermittent fasting, this fog started to lift. My thinking became sharper. I could focus more easily. This clarity was incredibly valuable for my work and daily tasks. My ability to concentrate also seemed to increase. I found myself able to work for longer periods without getting distracted. When I sat down to focus on a task, I could stay with it. This was a big change. Previously, my attention would wander more often. Now, I felt more mentally engaged. It was as if fasting had decluttered my mind. Just like it gave my digestive system a rest, perhaps it gave my brain a chance to reset too. This improved focus helped me be more productive. I also felt more in control of my eating habits. Before, I often ate out of boredom, or I would snack without really thinking about it. Intermittent fasting made me more mindful about when and what I ate. Because I had a specific eating window, I planned my meals more carefully. I thought more about the food I was putting into my body. This increased awareness was a powerful mental shift. It was not just about following rules, it was about making conscious choices. This felt very empowering. Finally, the whole experience gave me a strong sense of accomplishment. Sticking to the 30-day challenge required discipline. It required overcoming discomfort. Successfully doing that built my confidence. It showed me that I could set a goal and achieve it. This mental benefit was perhaps the most important one. It went beyond just fasting. It was a lesson in self-mastery. A reminder that small, consistent efforts can lead to significant personal growth and a stronger mindset. Section 9, my final thoughts should you try it? So after 30 days of intermittent fasting, what is my final verdict? Overall, it was a positive experience for me. It was challenging, especially at the start, but the benefits I experienced made it worthwhile. I felt more energetic, my mind felt clearer, I even lost a little weight. The structure of the 16-8 method worked well for my lifestyle once I got used to it. It simplified my decisions about food. It also taught me a lot about my own body and my habits. Would I recommend intermittent fasting to others? My answer is yes, but with some important things to consider. It might not be for everyone. If you have certain health conditions, it is very important to talk to your doctor first. It is not a magic solution for all problems. But if you are generally healthy and looking for a way to improve your energy, focus, or relationship with food, it could be worth trying. It is a tool, and like any tool, it works best when used correctly. If you decide to try it, I suggest starting slowly. Maybe begin with a shorter fasting window, like 12 or 14 hours. See how your body feels. Listen to your body. Drink plenty of water. And remember that the quality of food you eat during your eating window is still very important. Focus on healthy, nutritious meals. Do not use fasting as an excuse to eat poorly. The goal is to build sustainable, healthy habits. Small, consistent changes are key to long-term success. As for me, I plan to continue with some form of intermittent fasting. Maybe not as strictly every single day, but I like the feeling of clarity and energy it gave me. The 30-day challenge was a great way to kickstart this new habit. It showed me that I am capable of making changes for my well-being. This journey was more than just an experiment with food. It was a step towards better understanding myself. And that, I believe, is always a journey worth taking for anyone.